Hi, I'm Nicole Ainsworth, registered dietitian nutritionist with Food, Soul, Mind, Body. Today, we're talking leafy greens. So I'm sure you're familiar with spinach, green leaf lettuce, red leaf lettuce, romaine, and probably a number of other greens as well. But what I'd like to do today is introduce you to some that you may not be so familiar with. And why is that? The reason I'd like to do that is because it is so easy for us to get into a rut eating the same types of greens prepared the same way, and it can frankly just get very boring. With the myriad leafy greens that are out there and the many different ways to prepare them, I'm certain that we can actually get you to the point where you look forward to eating leafy greens. So in this video today, I'm going to touch on the nutritional value of leafy greens. I will introduce you to 7 leafy greens, go figure, one for each day of the week. I'll also share some tips on cleaning and storing your greens, and then we'll look at some suggested ways to prepare each of these greens in a very simple and tasty fashion. So we've all heard that leafy greens are healthy, they're good for us. Well, let's take a few minutes without going into deep detail and look specifically at how leafy greens can contribute to our health. Leafy greens are high in vitamins A, C, K, and folate. And why is that important? Well, vitamin A is important for a healthy immune system and healthy vision. Vitamin C is important for helping our bodies heal wounds and also important for healthy blood vessels, muscles, cartilage. Vitamin K is important for healthy blood clotting, so it helps our bodies avoid excessive bleeding. And folate is important for cell growth and maintenance. Now, there are 2 minerals that leafy greens are good sources of, and that is calcium and iron. Calcium, of course, is very important for healthy teeth and bones, as well as a number of other functions in our bodies. And iron is an important element in hemoglobin, which plays a role in transporting oxygen throughout our bodies. Leafy greens are also great sources of fiber, which is important for a healthy digestive system, and they're also high in antioxidants and phytochemicals. Antioxidants are important for fighting off free radicals, which play a role in cancer, causing cancer, as well as heart disease. And phytochemicals, just a moment about phytochemicals. Plants produce these chemicals, natural chemicals called phytochemicals. And what the phytochemicals do is they help the plant defend against threats from bacteria, virus, and fungi. And there is definitely research showing that when we consume plants that contain phytochemicals, so leafy greens for example, that we may actually be getting some of the benefits, similar benefits of these phytochemicals. And specifically, what's been seen is a potential ability to fight against carcinogens or cancer-causing agents, as well as fight against inflammation, which is a risk for heart disease. So, all good stuff. There are all sorts of instructions out there on how to cleanse and store your green leafy vegetables. Pre-wash them, don't pre-wash them. Put them in a plastic bag, perforate the bag. Wrap them in damp paper towels, put them in dry paper towels. And even these instructions vary based on the individual leafy green. It's enough to make you want to just throw your hands up and say, I give up, hand me that bag of chips. Well, please don't do that. I want to make this easy for you, and what I will do is share with you my approach, and that is I essentially apply a general rule across all of my green leafy vegetables. And what I can tell you is if you follow this, you will have clean vegetables and they will stay fresh for a reasonable amount of time. So what is it that I do? So I bring my vegetables home, obviously. Some of them, as you can see, are already prepackaged. I'm not going to put these in different packages. There's, in my opinion, no point to do that. They're already in a package. Now, they're pre-washed. Again, there's an argument as to whether or not to wash your pre-washed vegetables. I choose not to wash my pre-washed vegetables. So I keep them in the bag and they're ready to serve whenever I'm ready to get them. Now, I do prefer to get my vegetables fresh and out of the bag, but sometimes there's just not a choice. You go to the store and it's the only choice, as in kale at Trader Joe's, is to buy it in a prepackaged bag like this. Same thing with at some of the other grocery stores, depending on the item that you're wanting to purchase, it only comes in a plastic container. If that's your only choice and that's what you're hoping to get, whether it's because that's the vegetable you want specifically and it doesn't come another way, or you're getting it that way because of convenience, please take the plastic container when you're done with it and put it in the recycling bin rather than just throwing it in the trash. All right, so that's items that come pre-washed, pre-packaged. Now these others, like the beet greens here, the Swiss chard, the bok choy, what I do with those is I bring them home, I wrap them in a damp paper towel. I don't do dry paper towels because that will wick the moisture away from the leaves. It'll dry the leaves out and they'll become wilted, and that's not how you want your greens to be. So I also make sure it's not too wet of a paper towel, because otherwise you'll get soggy leaves that will spoil in a short amount of time. Once I've wrapped them in the damp paper towel, I put them in a reusable mesh bag that allows for some airflow here. So now you can use plastic Ziploc bags and perforate them. I choose not to do that. You'd be going through a lot of Ziploc bags and creating a lot of unnecessary trash over and over again every time you go to the grocery store. So I choose to use these reusable mesh bags. There are cotton vegetable bags as well, and those are even more eco-friendly than the reusable mesh bags that I have here. So just to summarize then, my pre-packaged, pre-washed, I leave them in the package they came in. My fresh that are out of the package, I'll bring them home. I'll wrap them in a damp towel, paper towel. I'll put them in a mesh bag until I'm ready to use them. Now, when I'm ready to use them, I'll take them out. I will then wash them. I'll usually do a triple wash under the water. Some of them may require a little soaking. Spinach and some leaves that tend to be bundled tight together as well. You want to loosen them up and let them soak in the water and then rinse them. And then you can either pat them dry with paper towels, or you can place them in a salad spinner and spin the water off of them, which is not only very effective, but actually a little fun as well. There are many, many ways to prepare these green leafy vegetables, but let's start simple. That way you can try them, see if you like them, and then expand into using them creatively in soups, side dishes, and entrees. But let's take a look now at what I prepared today with the greens that we talked about earlier. Here on my right, I have some veggie tacos. I've used the artisan lettuce as the shells. So instead of flour tortillas or corn tortillas, I have my nice, healthy, green leafy vegetables. Here I have a garlicky sauteed Swiss chard. Essentially, I prepared the Swiss chard just like I would sauteed spinach. I used olive oil and fresh garlic and sauteed my Swiss chard with that, and then used a little fresh lemon juice on top once the saute was complete. The Swiss chard does hold up a little firmer than the spinach, and I had mentioned earlier that the Swiss chard does tend to have sometimes a little bit of bitterness to it. However, when you saute it like this with the olive oil and the garlic and you use a little lemon juice on it, the bitterness goes away. And if you like sauteed spinach, you will really enjoy the sauteed Swiss chard. Next over here we have a salad with a bed of arugula, and here in the middle we've got a mix of little grape tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, some garlic, olive oil, and crushed almonds all on top. So a nice lunch entree or a side dish at dinner. Over here we've combined the beets and the beet greens together into a salad. We have the bed of beet greens, the beets in the middle here, and then feta cheese and walnuts on top, and we used a splash of balsamic vinegar to give it a little punch. We have a nice lunch option here with a whole grain bread. We've put some hummus on it. We've got some sliced tomatoes, English cucumber, and then we put a nice little handful of the microgreens on top and sprinkled some feta cheese. Again, a nice healthy lunch option there. Here on my far right, I have chili and lime kale chips. This is a great healthy alternative to potato chips or corn chips, other types of snacky chips. And then here front and center, we have an entree. This is our stir-fried bok choy with peanut tofu. And all of our veggies and tofu are lying on a bed of cauliflower rice. So a nice array of snacks, side dishes, and entrees here for you to consider. So I hope that I have your appetite awakened and also your creative juices flowing. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video and that it's got you thinking about new ways to incorporate leafy greens into your diet. Perhaps you learned a little bit more about why leafy greens are good for you. Perhaps you're a little more relieved to know that you can enjoy your leafy greens and you don't have to spend your entire afternoon cleaning and storing them. Ultimately, I hope that you'll add some of these greens to your next grocery list and that you'll continue to explore new ways to add leafy greens to your diet. By the way, the recipes for the foods I prepared today are available via a link in the video description below, so please do try out some of them. So again, thanks for watching today. Now go get your greens.